in any way, shape, or form that I am attracted to you. Like, that is what blows my mind out of everything. That this profile picture is for you. That my presence on this app is for you. Because none of it's true. Like,
I've heard you mention. Let me say this real quick.
I've already answered that question.
Let me say this real quick.
And I think it's really interesting for a man who tries to rest on his masculinity and the fact that he's a leader needs to bring in other.
I'm gonna.
I came up on my own, sweetheart. I came up on my own. He didn't have to have.
And so do I. I came up on my own.
We exactly rose to the conversation because he can't stand on his own, right?
Yes, he can. He's been standing on his own for a whole entire year without you.
We all came here by our own choices. Kenzie,
exactly.
If I don't like a life,
you because he needed you.
Kenzie, no.
He doesn't.
Are you threatened by other women? Are you threatened by
other women? No. You want to make this a 4v1? I'm here to eat. Let's do it, girls.
Threatened by other women.
But can I just...
Yes, you can. But Kenzie, the fact of the matter is that I think you're upset and angry that you thought everything was going to backfire with me. From all of you have, from the thing that happened with Mr. Jones. And you know what, why don't you talk about Mr. Jones's wife who exposed him? Okay, so from everything that happened,
what are you talking about? Talk about a fucking pivot.
So from everything that happened with Mr. Jones, you thought I was going to go away. You thought all these women were going to come against me, and I've only grown. I've only gotten way more women that like me and follow me. You thought that I was going to be ashamed and back down and put my tail between my legs. And
I don't think you know what it's like to experience.
I only came stronger.
Narcissists have a hard time with shame.
Okay.
He's not a narcissist.
Can I just say something, Kenzie? I know what a narcissist is, and this man is not a narcissist, right?
That was very rude.
We need to make that very clear. Also, Kenzie, I think you need validation, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be in a man's life that you dislike or you don't agree with. The truth is, there's many. Kenzie, there's many people. Kenzie, can I just finish? There's many people on this app that I don't get on with their views. I might have had altercations with them. I've kept it moving. I don't stay in their lives, right? So if you don't agree with someone, I don't know why you would be here. So it's either for attention or it's because you like the drama. So it's one or the other. That's the truth.
I'm here to combat his talking.
She likes both of them. She likes attention and she likes the drama.
Let me know when you're ready.
No, we don't need to hear you. You need to drop. We need to hear back.
I took her down so you don't have to worry about arguing with her. Okay. Empress, thank you for coming up, but I don't want to we're not going to have an argument on here right now. The fact of the matter is that's what she wants. She wants to try to prove her point that, look, who brought a 4 or 5-on-1 and he couldn't handle me by himself. That's what she wants. I don't know what anybody's going to come up here and say, man. I don't.
Right, but you're adding other people. Like you invited me to talk to you, and now you're trying to add other people because you need reinforcement in your premise.
I add other people all the time.
You didn't let anyone tell
my brother.
So let me just say. So when it comes to certain premises or certain principles that people hold, if they are sound and if they are structural and if they do have backing, they should withstand a little bit of questioning. So if Guru really does have some strong foundations in the principles that he is quote unquote preaching to you all, then it should withstand some questioning. And that's what I'm here for, because it won't. And that's why he doesn't answer questions. And that's why he actually doesn't engage in the conversation.
Ma'am, I answered your question regarding the RAP3 statistics. I told you that survey is flawed. It's been proven over and over. You know, the FBI, listen, ma'am, I've read all about this stuff. You know, the FBI used to define what RAP3 was, not the CDC. And the way that national survey is fairly new. FBI used to define it. And the way that is defined by the CDC is way different than how the FBI used to define it.
Is there any statistic regarding that you would find valid?
Regarding, wait, see, here we go, but you're moving the goalpost to SA.
I'm not removing the goalpost.
Because they have to do with this.
Because you are saying that men will only allow what women let them. And that's not true. Even when women set up boundaries and standards, men still in some degrees or capacity are entitled to what they want. Which then I can go, if you want me to bring up another topic, I can.
Do you know what? Do you know what? Do you know what?
Hold on. I'm asking her. She said men. Are you saying all men?
No.
Okay. How many men? What percentage of men do this?
Based on what I read, it's 6 to 15%.
6 to 15% of men do what now? Take advantage?
Have committed rape. No. So if we're just going to talk about rape, that's 6 to 15% have committed some type of like sexual violation boundary. I've read as high as 33.
Okay. Is that based off of what? Conviction rate?
No, that would be surveys as well.
Okay, all right, surveys. So not conviction rate. So a survey.
Well, conviction rate would be difficult because.
A survey according to who? Asking a pop.
I would have to look up the source.
So
I haven't studied that one.
All right, so I would like to know that source where you're saying that you studied a certain populace of men. There's some type of peer-reviewed journal or some type of study that's been conducted in which they surveyed a group of men and determined that 6 to 15% of a general population of men have graded a W.
Okay. So, sure. No, I'll provide that for you. And so, are you going to address my question now?
What's the question? And then happy folks can ask hers.
It's the question I've been asking. So, if men only do what women allow them to, then how do you explain instances where women set boundaries or say no?
I did not say.
And they are great.
So first of all, I never said only. When I speak in terms of this, I'm speaking in general, ma'am, because in general we can only. Okay, listen. Just like medicine, right? Okay, doctors prescribe medicine based off of what the general population could handle. Okay, then at certain times there's like, hey, these certain individuals can't handle this type of medicine. So then there's alternative medications prescribed to those people. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Is that there is a general way of thinking or a general way of speaking, which I'm speaking of right now. And then there is a smaller segment of the population that it does not apply to. So generally speaking, we're not talking about men that are sick in the head. We're not talking about men that are serial unalivers. We're not talking about serial RAP3ers. We're not talking about none of that stuff. We are talking about, in general, the way men function of sound mind. Usually, these men are going to do what women allow. And what I said is that you guys allow men, when you guys allow men to do whatever they want in terms of have access to your body, and you think that the commitment that you're getting is he's my boyfriend or he's even my fiance, I'm saying men do not look at it that way, and we don't count that. We don't see that.
So that are deceptive.
We don't see that as
something
commitment.
about that, my brother.
No, it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with deceptive. It has everything to do with the fact that you are allowing us to do this. That's not.
Wait, but what if he says I am committed to you?
That's not because I'm.
That is not a commitment, please, my dad.
Ma'am, okay, you can't keep interrupting and talking into the stream. I'm trying to have a conversation with Kenzie really quickly. We don't count what you guys are saying because what you're saying out of your mouth and what you're doing with your actions are two different things.
No, I'm saying, so if we were to look, like I brought up evolutionary psychology before, I agree with you in the sense that most men are, I should say, men are more interested in casual sex than women. And you're essentially saying that because women allow them.
Where are you getting that from?
So there's a study by Dr. David Buss, who's an evolutionary psychologist. He did studies in 37 different countries and came up, essentially tried to find out what are consistent with every type, what are consistent within populations, regardless of culture and influence.
Okay, so I can also pull up studies where they've determined that women have a higher and stronger libido than men, and therefore they're more likely to want to explore alternative styles of intercourse or cheating or cheat.
Okay, I'd be happy to look at your study. The study that I cited earlier is from Lissack and Miller.
That would be considered casual sex. Women that are just out cheating, looking at that's casual. There's no commitment involved. There's no marriage. Okay. Anyway,
right, but that doesn't discount what I just said. That when you look at it from an evolutionary psychology lens, that men are more interested in casual sex than women. Do you disagree with that?
Men are more interested in casual. I would probably say that's probably right. Sure.
Okay, great. So we can also see that when it comes to like mating rituals or engaging in romantic relationships.
Wait a minute, Kenzie. If you heard what I said earlier, I said the reason why. I said there's a reason for that. I said God put something in us to make us desire women so that the population continues.
Fact.
So when it comes to like essentially picking your mates in this like evolutionary context, it's not what you would consider within other evolutionary sciences. Like a lot of people consider evolution to be, you know, survival of the fittest. So therefore we reproduce in order for our species to survive. And when it comes to relationships and the continuation of the human species, that's not true. There's actually different motivations for why mates choose specific mates, and it's for certain characteristics and more favorable ones to be passed down, not necessarily to continue the propagation of our species.
Okay, ma'am.
So I would disagree with you
So
on
you're
that.
talking about something in regards to evolution. I'm talking about something in regards to religion. Okay, and I'm speaking of in religion, or the way that we understand religion and the Abrahamic faiths is that God put something in man to desire women to keep the population going.
Right, but that premise that you are presenting contradicts science.
No, it does not.
It absolutely does.
Okay, so ma'am, you know that there have been experiments that the attractive man would get more interaction than a really unattractive overweight W, and the W still got more attention because, and I'm saying, even though evolutionarily speaking, men are not really designed to really want the bigger, more unhealthy looking W. We are designed to want the body shape and the body type of a slender, more Coke bottle shaped type of W.
And the reason for that is because a healthy woman will be able to carry the children, right? So that's also evolutionary basis, by the way. So the way that she's shaped, how she looks after herself, she's going to look after the kids. But I don't understand.
And this is
That's actually incorrect as well.
Hold on a second, Kenzie. And this is why industry. This is why when you look, so you want to bring up science. There's a science to this as well. This is why in the industries regarding and if there's any type of alcohol usually involved with any type of bar, nightclub, anything like this, the women that they hire to work in these environments are small, young, really in shape women. They don't hire bigger women because they know that the male, scientifically speaking, is going to be attracted to the slender W, the shapely W.
Also, so you know a lot about Kenzie, you know a lot about evolutionary theories. So you don't know about the waist to hip ratio?
I didn't read that one, but I do want to address his comment before we continue. So when it comes to like desirable traits that we've seen within both genders or both sexes, I would agree with you that obviously like youth is one of the qualities, but more so like the Coke shaped bottle, nothing referenced that. It was essentially youth as well as a symmetrical face were the most desired beauty characteristics.
Hey,
but again, like I feel like you're kind of.
I'm telling you, these industries have studied this stuff, and that's the reason why they don't hire older women, even if they're shapely, because they know it's youth along with the shape of the body. The shape of the body has a lot to do with it too.
Also, on an evolutionary basis, the reason why, if you look at evolutionary, the reason why men won't approach older women, evolutionary reasons for this is because the grandmothers are seen to help their children to raise the grandchildren. So they don't seek for them. Like they look for health
just
and
because that
fertility.
these are like similar outcomes does not mean like obviously that they are conclusive to every person. So yes, as a human species, we are more drawn to youth characteristics. That's for both men and women.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that and agreeing to that. The point of the matter was that even during that study, like the Tinder study that they did, even with a study like that, what goes to show is that there are a lot of men, evolutionary, you want to bring up evolutionary speaking, that they have something within them that they want to get out with a woman. And watching or looking at dating profiles of women, watching pornography, watching anything like that, and where women are sexualizing themselves, which they love to do in the West, is going to cause the man to want to be with a woman and release what he has inside of him.
What's the title of the Tinder study?
I'm sorry?
What is the title of the Tinder study?
I don't know the title of the Tinder study, but I can get it to you as well. Someone sent it to me.
So the point that I wanted to make with like evolutionary biology in this, that men are more interested in casual sex, just comes like to certain behavioral mechanisms that men are more likely to use deceptive tactics in order to gain sex, which is typically just for fundamental purposes. They will say, they're interested in a long-term committed relationship when they're just interested.
Is that the same as women using
when they're just interested in casual sex. So the point that I was trying to make with this is that men can say they are committed and wanting to be monogamous. Then how can you fault the woman for believing him?
Okay, so first of all, I need everyone in this live stream right now that's watching to tap the screen and get us up to 75K likes. That's the next goal. Thank you for supporting this content. Tap the screen. You guys have 5 minutes to do that. The timer's on. Okay, can you please ask that question one more time?
When it comes to strategies in relationships, men are more likely to use deceptive tactics by claiming that they want long-term committed relationships when they're just interested in casual
Men are more
sex.
likely to use deceptive tactics.
The same reference that I gave you before. This is by
men don't come out and say that we want relationships. Men in general, we don't.
They do typically present that as a way if they think it'll get them access to sex.
No, we don't. No, we don't. When women ask
that's literally what the evolutionary psychologists have deemed, that men are more likely to use deception.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, when it comes to having intercourse, if you guys ask us if we're looking for a relationship, once again, if you didn't listen to what I was saying earlier, we don't take what you're saying serious. That has nothing to do with deception. You just don't take it serious.
That's not a counter to my argument.
Okay.
I'm talking about what men say their goals are within the relationship.
I'm addressing what you're saying. The fact of the matter is that you're saying you're calling it deception, and I'm saying we don't take. I'm looking for a boyfriend to be in a relationship with, and we don't take any of that serious.
What does that mean?
What do you mean? What does it mean?
What do you mean you don't take that serious? Like you just make assumptions? What is the assumption you make?
Okay. We don't take serious the fact that you're saying that you are looking, or you're asking us if we want a relationship. And at the same time, if we say if there are men that want relationships, if we say, yes, we want a relationship, and then you give us access to your body just off of that, we don't take you serious, as in, we don't see you as something that we should be committed to fully because of what you allow.
Exactly. We're the gatekeepers.
I think you're really disingenuously oversimplifying the situation without any kind of actually coherent argument or knowledge.
In regards to the deception, it's part of human nature. Like it's part of our communication to deceive in many regards. So it's not just men that deceive. Women deceive all the time.
She's deceiving. She's deceptive right now with that picture of makeup and a filter. That's deception right there.
And also, I wanted to ask you a question. What about kids? Say, like, would you blame their parent? Would you not blame the mother? Who, so majority of evolutionary psychologists have also come to the conclusion, because I've studied psychology. So a lot of evolutionary psychologists have come to the conclusion that majority of kids that do get SA'd are from women who leave the father of those kids and put their children in an environment with another man who hasn't birthed them, right? Who doesn't have any biological connection to these children. So would you not blame women for not looking after their own kids and for putting them in this position?
I think you massaged some of those statements there. You had to put in the context that these women have left the fathers of their children, which I don't necessarily agree with. I would need to see that the study said. It could be very much so that the men left her.
Okay, whether or not she's left her, whether or not they've left her, or they've left them, or whatever's happened.
So again, it's the non-biologically related parent that I blame.
Okay, you can't. So you wouldn't blame. So you wouldn't blame the woman that's put her children in.
I would blame the perpetrator, unless she voluntarily knew she was handing her children over to a pedophile. No, I wouldn't blame her.
Okay, so let me answer this question, because I was in a situation where my kid's father passed when they were younger. I had to be mindful about what situation that I put those kids in, which is why I did not date for a while, because I needed to make sure they got older, pretty much almost out of the house, without bringing children into a situation as now anything could happen. That's my responsibility to who I put my children around and the people that I bring into our lives. So that's what Happy Flow is referring to. If I put my children in a circumstance that is not conducive to anything healthy or viable, which means bringing in other people, that's my responsibility.
I can agree with you to a certain extent, sure. Like, obviously, it is irresponsible for someone who is caretaking of children to drink, to put them in obviously dangerous situations. But again, that would be that they are aware that the situation is dangerous.
You know what?
Which in a lot of cases, when it comes to children being abused, some people are not aware that the perpetrator is the dangerous person.
There's no accountability, Kenzie.
Hold on one second. Here's the thing.
So the issue that I have with like this victim blaming mentality is because then I could apply your principles to like other specific scenarios.
The victim's the
Here's
child,
the
it's not
thing.
the mother.
You guys don't. There are no laws in the books. The laws are not there in order to prosecute W's for this type of stuff. You guys are not prosecuted at all for this. Men are prosecuted when they actually do the thing. You guys are.
If
You guys.
no, that is
You
not
guys
true.
are.
If they are
No.
an
You guys are
accomplice and they
normally.
were
No. You
fully
normally.
aware of what was going on, yes, they
You
were.
guys are
Yes, they
normally.
are.
You normally are not prosecuted for this stuff. For example, one prime example right now.
If they were aware,
Hush for a minute.
yes, they were. And let's also talk about how men are not commonly prosecuted for sexual
One prime
assault.
example of what just happened not too long ago, a few days ago, I think, at Rolling Loud, was the fact that a rapper by the name of, what's the city girl's name? Carisha. She brought her son in an environment where he was throwing money at poll workers who were basically nude, or almost nude. He was throwing money at them. That is a crime. It's called contributing to the delinquency of a minor. She was not prosecuted for that, and she won't be prosecuted for that. You guys are not prosecuted like men are.
I can't comment on that specific situation because I don't know the context of it, and I think you are deliberately leaving.
No, that's just one example of how you guys are not prosecuted for stuff like this. See, the men are prosecuted for stuff
That is incorrect, though, because if the women are an accomplice and they knowingly and engaged in, I know you're speaking. See, this is the issue, because I need to fight for the space to speak. Because when you guys say something, you don't let me address it.
Someone else's space.
You can wait your turn, like these other women up here that are muted, and they wait their turn
I
to speak.
do wait my turn, and then when it is my turn, you don't give me the space
I've
to
seen
speak.
how you've operated your platform. On your platform, you don't give people the space to speak at all.
Yes, I do. I absolutely do.
You drop people all the time, and then you come over here and
I do
say,
not.
Guru never allows anyone on. He doesn't allow
No,
dissenting
no.
opinions.
No, I typically do not act that way. Like, I actually hold myself to a higher standard than I hold my guests to. I will let my guests typically interrupt me.
Today, that's fine. You can lie, but anyone can watch your streams in the future, and they can see how you.
I guess I'm following your lead, Guru.
You clearly will drop people when you don't like how the conversation is going.
No, not at all. I'm very interested in discourse.
Okay, all right. I don't know why. Yeah, I know she's lying. I don't know why she's even in here right now to have this conversation when
you challenge me, Guru. Why wouldn't I take the challenge? You're an easy W.
Call an agent of chaos.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm the agent of chaos when I am speaking calmly. I am using facts. I'm not getting overly emotional. I am not insulting. Because see, look, I'm here, I'm talking, and now everyone else is talking.
Well, you had the floor for the longest, ma'am.
Yeah,
So
let me ask you a question. Can I ask you all a question? Who raises kids when the father's at home?
When the father's not home?
When the father's not home, who's raising these kids? Because
no one's raising these kids in the West.
So we know this in this society that we live in.
Women.
No, they're not. No, you guys are not. You guys are sending these children to daycare.
No. That's the answer I was looking for.
If they're single mothers, sure, they're going to daycare when they have to work.
That is amazing, because that is the answer I'm looking for. So it's women that are raising these men, right? And how do women treat their sons compared to their daughters? Because women are the problem, and we're not taking accountability for the fact that we're the actual problem in society.
Well, yeah, if women are raising them, like she said, these men are done. They're not doing this, and women are raising them. How are these boys turning out to be SAers, like you just mentioned earlier? Mm-hmm. How are they turning out to only want casual sex? How are they turning out this way if women are doing all the raising?
So I think you guys are misrepresenting a lot of data and not giving full context. Essentially,
that's what you said.
No, I am. I'm going to address it. So if we're talking about like single mothers, typically within Western society, if we're talking about American culture, typically most children are raised in two-parent households. Now, when we talk about single-parent households, typically 80% of those are by single mothers, and single fathers have risen within the 20%. If we're going to focus on that specific demographic of single mothers are the most likely to be subject to poverty. And it is poverty which typically creates the undesirable outcomes.
No, it's women.
If you want to talk about why men are more interested in casual sex, I wasn't done. If you want to talk about why men are interested in casual sex, I've already told you that's through evolutionary psychology, not a socialization. And if you want to talk about, what was the other point that you made? Oh, why men are trash? It's because of women. That's weird. That's a weird point to make.
It looks like there's no accountability. Well, I'd hate to live in that country. Everyone seems to be delusional over there.
That's not an argument.
No, it's a fact.
I know there's a lot of people waiting to come up. But I'm going to tell you guys, if I bring anyone else up, she's just going to feel even more attacked. So
No, go ahead. Like I said, I'll do 5v1, Guru. I don't
Where are your
care.
people at, Kenzie? Since all these people love you, where are they at?
What do you mean, where are they at? I don't know. I
see
keep
any of
beacons
your
on my
people. I don't
phones.
see any of your people waiting to come up here.
I see a couple. Oh, I thought you meant in the comments.
No,
I don't know. I
waiting
can't
to come
see
up
in your
here.
guest
Where are
request.
they at? Since you want to make it even, where are your people at?
Guru, I don't care if there's another person in here. If you want to bring in
No, you
10
do
more of your
care because
followers, go right
Okay, she
ahead.
says, I want you to see. I want
None
you
of
guys
you
to
are
see how
educated. None of you actually have to.
No, we're gonna hush Kenzie. I want you guys to see how disingenuous she is. She says, "I don't care about," but she's the one that brought up the fact that there was a 2 or 3 or 4-1 attack against her. She brought it up.
No, I brought
So
up the
now
fact that you
no,
can't stand on your own.
you did. She brought it up that she was being
It's
attacked.
contradictory to
Now
your
she's
platform,
saying she doesn't care. She doesn't care how many people are coming against her.
Yes, Hannah, I know she's coming for our education as if she knows our backgrounds.
No,
It's
Guru.
hilarious.
I said that it's interesting as a man that you claim that you are the leader and that you are qualified within all.
Insult. So let's mute her again. Here's another insult.
You
That
bring
I
up other
claim that
people.
I'm a man. She also
Yeah,
called me a narcissist. She's done all these things tonight, but she wants to come in here and play the victim and say that I talk about her genitals and I sexualize her. And then she does that, but she won't take any
I'm
accountability
not
for the
claiming
name
I'm a
calling.
victim.
She's come in here and name called me. She's come in here and acted like I'm attacking her. My people are attacking her. She's done all of this stuff.
You're coping hard.
I'm coping.
Yeah, so the reason that I said it's interesting
Now
because
you
you
people are
essentially
saying
uphold
unfair.
men as these strong leaders who can withstand stress, who can hold down the fort, who are pillars of strength. And yet when I come in here to challenge your ideas, you have to bring in other people
Here
to
we go.
affirm you.
Watch this.
You
Look.
can't stand on your
Okay.
own.
There, Kenzie, nobody else is. I need you guys to tap the screen and get the likes to 100K. If you want this stream to keep going, I need 5 people to go to the bio and hit the $sign. Hit the link in the bio and go to the $sign. I'm not going to keep having this conversation if we don't get the support. Okay. What's your issue, Kenzie, now? You guys have 6 minutes to get all that done. 100K likes.
What do you mean, what is my issue?
You guys have 6 minutes to get all that done. Okay. And five supporters of the $sign. Your issue was with that I had other people up here coming against you. Now they're gone. So what's your issue now?
No, that's not like I said, Guru, I don't care how many people you bring.
I'm the one that told you.
You are. That's why you brought up other people, because you
afraid
can't
of you.
stand on your
Okay,
own.
now I'm afraid of you. Okay, so what's your argument now since there's no one else that is attacking you? What's your argument now?
My argument for what?
So you have nothing to say. See,
No,
this is
Guru,
what I'm
you haven't
talking
addressed
about.
any of the arguments that I have
went on
made.
a whole diatribe earlier about this topic, and the only thing that you came up here to do was bring up some evolutionary psychology thing and say that you disagreed with me. That's all you had.
Correct. I don't think correct. So if you want me to again attack your premise in another capacity, I can do so.
I've already debunked what you said, and
You've
that's
not debunked shit.
Yes, I have. See, now you can't control yourself. Where's the emotional intelligence? You can't stop yourself from using profanity and making and laughing very sarcastically.
People who
This
use
is an
profanity show
individual-
a high
this is
level
an
of
individual that lacks emotional intelligence, who can't stop herself from laughing sarcastically and using profanity. This is a lack of
yeah, I
emotional
laugh at the ridiculous things you say because they're ridiculous.
Okay, I have to keep muting her because she keeps trying to
Using
overtalk me.
profanity
This
is a sign of
lack
intelligence.
This is a lack of emotional intelligence. It is. She lacks the emotional intelligence needed to have a conversation. Even though she says I can't converse with her, she can't stop herself from laughing sarcastically and using profanity. Go ahead. What other point do you have? Brother, try again,
Are you sure
brother.
I can speak now?
I don't think you're using the right one, brother.
Yeah, so is your premise also that like men are better leaders than women?
Yes, they are.
Then
Way better.
why was there a study done where women outperformed men in 13 of the 17 traits of leadership?
How does that, now let me ask you that. I don't know what that study is, but let me ask you this. How come that does not transfer over to the real world?
Because we live in a patriarchal society.
I knew you were going to say that. That's the only answer that you guys have. Women are outperforming men in all of these categories, but in the real world,
Women are outperforming men in college.
Where?
I just
In
told
college,
you,
where?
women
College
are
is
graduating at higher degrees, higher rates, and with degrees from college than men are. Men are falling behind.
Really? Okay. All right. So, high rates. Do you know that a lot of that has to? Thank you, Ebony, for hitting the $sign. We still need 4 more people. You guys have 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Kenzie, did you know that there are a lot of factors, including child support, that cause men to not be able to apply for or receive student aid, like student loans? Did you know that?
Where did you get that statistic?
Ma'am, I'm telling you right now, there's way more men. Have you looked at the jail and prison statistics? Way more men are locked up for crimes than women. Way more. It's not even close.
Correct. Would you agree that men commit more crimes than women?
Yeah. So all of those, I don't know, maybe, but I also
Really?
think that
Wait, you don't know?
ma'am, I also think that it's the way that the law was set up. They're not set. You guys don't. There are no laws that you guys are normally prosecuted for a lot of the things that you do.
That's not necessarily correct. So we can look at
a lot of the manipulation. We just saw it in a national story with Carly Russell. She's not going to be prosecuted for anything.
Again, you're giving like singular. Wait. You're giving singular examples.
Let's use the example of a man. Did Jesse Smollett get prosecuted for what he did for misleading authorities?
Okay.
I'm asking you, was Jesse Smollett prosecuted?
Yes, he was prosecuted, but you're going to bring up cases where men are prosecuted and cases where women aren't.
Thank you, ma'am.
If we're going to talk about generalizing, you need to look at statistics, not these individual.
I was about to call you Carly. Kenzie, 2 national stories. A man was prosecuted, a woman wasn't. Very similar in what they did. Lied to investigators about everything that happened to them in regards to a kidnapping or robbery or whatever.
Those are not similar. Didn't Jesse Smollett lie about a hate crime?
We still need 3 more people. Now we only need 2 more. Thank you, Mr. Johnson, and thank you, De Block. Thank you, De Block, and thank you, Mr. Johnson, for supporting this content. We still need 2 more people.
Yeah, statistically, we can see that men do commit more crime than women. That's why you're just cherry picking.
I'm going to have to shut this down. Ma'am, okay. And I've also told you that there are a lot of laws that are strictly used against men, and a lot of the laws are not set up to go against W's. You guys
so sure, I could agree in some circumstances, yes, that men do receive harsher punishments depending on what crime is committed.
But the things that
women also receive harsher punishments when it comes to
men typically do things related to physical crimes. W's typically do things related to some type of they don't really do physical stuff. They do softer things. For example,
what does that mean?
For example, retail theft, shoplifting. They do things like this. And a lot of W's are not prosecuted for this stuff. They run retail theft rings even. They do stuff like this. You guys don't typically get prosecuted for this stuff. You guys are not
typically prosecuted for sexual assault.
Now, do you realize that what gender has majority of the child neglect and child abuse charges and prosecutions? Do you know that? Do you know?
Yes, I do.
Who is it?
So if we're going to talk about volume, it would be women. If we're going to talk about rate, it would be men.
No, okay, raw numbers. Okay, so W's lead in raw numbers and the amount of child abuse and child neglect. You guys are
right. That's because
hush. You guys are neglecting and abusing children far more than men.
That's not true. The reason that it happens more.
No.
Why are you not letting me counter your? Why are you not letting me counter your statements?
I'm not done yet. I'm not done.
You have to let me address the point. You just can't rattle on 10 or 12 points.
I'm not done yet. These children that have been put in your care, you have proven that you are not doing well in terms of how you treat them. And the fact of the matter is that you guys are not really investigated and punished when even CPS goes in and investigates these cases. A lot of times you guys get your children back after you've abused them. You get their children right back.
So if you want to talk about the statistic, we already talked about how 80% of single mothers or single parents are women, where 20% are men. So if we're going to talk about volume, because more women take care of children, then yes, the number is higher. But if we're going to reduce that, I'm not done. If we're going to talk about per capita, which means if men took care of children as much as women did, then men would lead in that child abuse.
Folks, we're still missing 1 donation. If you want this stream to continue, I suggest that you guys hit the $ in the bio. I have no problem ending these streams when we don't get the financial support. Support this content, just like they're supporting Kenzie right now. Support this content.
How much are you wanting?
I'm not wanting anything from you. I'm telling the people that are watching to do it.
Right. I'm at, like, how much are you going for? What? 1.1 is like $11.
Don't worry what I'm going for, ma'am. I asked for 5 people to contribute to this content. That's why I turned off the comments. So anyway,
they don't look like they're all.
It's on subscribers only mode, Kenzie. Okay. Anyway, back to what I was saying.
Are you going to address my counter?
I am. When you want to talk about single mothers, there's much higher rate of single mothers than there are single fathers. There's a huge reason for that, and we know why. The system is set up to get all of the money out of men as possible, because they know that men have such high in history. We're talking about history, historically speaking. Men have had the income they've had, and they still do. We make way more money than you, and therefore, and we're an easy target. The court system. Let me show you this book. Here's an example right here. This book shows that when I read this book, The Myth of the Missing Black Father, you know what happens? You know what it said? One of the reasons why the laws are set up like this in regards to men and paying child support and custody, one of the reasons they're set up like this is because studies have been given to and granted to looking into single mothers. There's not a lot of study or data on single fathers, not even close to the amount of single mothers. All of the attention went to single mothers. Therefore, everything is based off single mothers. And on top of this, with the myth of the missing black father, the only men that they really studied before they implemented a lot of these laws were divorced Caucasian men. They studied divorced Caucasian. They didn't really look into single fathers, okay? And when you combine all of that, so you have to use all of this together, and you say, okay, wow, they didn't really provide any studies or statistics when it comes to the men. Thank you, brother, for the donation and helping us hit our goal. Kwame. I think that's a brother. Thank you, Kwame. I'll turn the comments back on.
So, number one, that doesn't address my counter that essentially showed that if we were to take this to where single fathers took care of children as much as single mothers, then they would actually surpass women in child abuse.
That does not prove that. That does not show
It absolutely does. Wait. No. Do you understand the difference between volume and rate, correct?
Of course. Where are you getting rate from?
Rate is based off of what percentage of women have children and what percentage of men have the children.
Okay, where are you getting that from? Where's that study at? Where are you getting that data from?
I don't even need a separate study, because if you give me the number.
Ma'am, I've never seen any data regarding, and I've looked into a lot of child statistics. I've never seen any data regarding that, what you're talking about.
You should be able to look at your own data, because you told me who has the higher volume, and I told you it is women, and I gave you the reason that they have the higher.
It wasn't based off of single mothers versus single fathers at all.
It was. The data that you're citing is.
You see, and this is why it is hard. I want to point something out. This is why it is tough and hard to do this type of content, because when someone comes in here, a W that argues against Guru, they get so much financial support from other Ws. While I barely, even though all of you that like to come and watch this content, you guys barely will support Guru. But when she's on her own platform talking by herself, she doesn't get this type of support. She gets this support when she's speaking against Guru. This is how the show is made.
I mean, not just you. It's typically like misogynist in general. Like the more misogynist, the higher.
I've watched it all, man. When you guys speak on your own platforms, you don't have a plethora of women coming in and saying, "Yes, Kenzie, just talk by yourself, and we'll give you, we'll donate to you, we'll support you." I
do make more money through Cash App, not
I do too, man. But I'm just stating.
Well, I'm just saying you can't see the Cash App where you can see this.
Yeah. I understand that, but I know I'm not every W that comes on here has a Cash App. I'm talking about in general, generally speaking, this is what happens. When anyone comes on here and argues against me, they donate to the person that's arguing against me.
Well, maybe it's just the better take.
Just to try to show that, we're going to go against any man that appears to be patriarchal just for the hell of it.
No, it's because I have the better argument. That's what it is.
If they really liked you, then they would come and give you all these gifts and donations just when you're talking by yourself.
They do, but that's my point, is that I'm saying that you don't see a lot because a lot comes through Cash App.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
because I encourage Cash App and Venmo because TikTok doesn't take that money.
Where is the Cash App right now that you've gotten since you've been on here?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
Ma'am, you have a phone. You get notifications on your phone. Don't be silly.
I turn notifications off on this
Okay, well,
phone
go
for that
check
very
right
reason.
now. Go check right now and you tell me.
No.
Go check.
Well, no. Why are you mad? Why are you mad I'm getting the coin?
I'm not mad you're getting the coin.
Yeah,
I'm just
you
making
are.
a statement.
Look, Priscilla's even gifting you now. Aren't you happy?
Okay, but I was just making a statement that in general, when I'm on here speaking against a feminist or a W and there's an argument, this is what they do. And this is why I don't like doing this type of content, because they don't support when I'm just speaking, but they'll come and watch me for hours and hours and hours. Anyway, back to what I was saying, ma'am. We're all the way off topic. Let's get back to the serious minded, and notice that you didn't even point that out. You keep talking about men in general. I specifically put in here, there are little serious minded male leaders, which is
I asked you
actually,
if you thought men were better leaders than women.
Kenzie, this is actually a support for you as a woman. I'm literally saying that there are not enough, or there are very little serious minded male leaders. But I'm stating the reason for that is because of women, because you guys allow weak minded men to get into to have access to your body. And you think that you're having some type of relationship or commitment with them, and they don't see it as that at all.
Maybe 17-year-old girls think that, but no, not adult women.
Yes, they do. All the time,
No,
man.
they don't.
Once again, I've told you, I've talked to at least probably
I
1,500,
don't
2,500
care.
women.
I don't care.
Okay.
So
why are you
we're
here
going
if
to talk
you don't
about,
care?
well, let me address your premise, because I
Okay.
just think you're shit. Like, if you
Okay, well, you know what? We're going to remove her. She doesn't care about what I'm saying about all the women I've talked to. Why is she here? Just goofy.